Morning. Now I'm very aware that my videos have been a little bit light on the ground last week. The reason for that is I've been decorating at home and the whole house is upside down and it's driving us all mad. I just need to get it finished. So for that reason I've had to, well, something's had to give, and unfortunately it's been the videos. So don't worry, I am going to be back with some more and I'll be back on my normal kind of schedule very soon. But with that in mind, there's a couple of things that won't take too long that I just want to share with you that have happened to me over the last week or so that I think you'll find interesting. Now the first thing is a follow-up really from the video that I did on driving economy, driving efficiency of EVs, in particular the Leaf, but just what modes and what settings should you put your car in order to get, or in order for it to be the most efficient. Now at the end of that video I said that if you were to drive it in B mode with the eco button off, then it was the most efficient. Now lots and lots and lots of you contacted me and said, well, what about if you were to drive it in D mode with eco on? Because that was the one group of settings that I didn't look at. The reason I didn't look at it is because nobody was really talking about it and nobody was saying that that was an efficient way of driving. And at some point I had to make the video fit. I didn't want it to go on and on forever. I could have looked at every setting under the sun. So yeah, I had to decide somewhere where to stop it. But so many of you asked me about it, I thought I would do a bit of a follow-up and see how it worked out. So in D mode with eco on, I got a result over the same sort of parameters as I spoke about before, bit of motorway driving, A roads, B roads, dual carriageways over a whole week. I got a result of 4.2 kilowatt hours, or miles per kilowatt hour. Now, that's very similar, maybe slightly more, ever so slightly more. But what I did notice, around the town, I got some really, really good economy. It was actually better than 4.2. The second I went out onto a dual carriageway or a motorway, it dropped right down. It dropped down to 3.8 at one point. So ultimately it averaged itself out at 4.2. And it was going between 4.1 and 4.2. So it was on that upper end. But it still brings me back to the point that I made right at the very end. Actually, cost savings wise, you're not really saving yourself anything. It's pennies, and it really is pennies over years. So my conclusion remains, find a group of settings that work for you and you enjoy driving on, and then drive the car and enjoy it. Don't worry about it. But hopefully that's filled in that little gap that everybody asked about, and now you know what it was with my little set of parameters. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to talk about is a recent service, an MOT I had at Nissan. Now, I dropped my car off, my Nissan Leaf off, for its very first MOT. It's just turned 3 years old. For information, it's done just over 38,500 miles. I still got full battery health and it absolutely sailed through the service and it sailed through its MOT. Nothing to be concerned about whatsoever, which was great. The reason I'm mentioning it is because when I went to pick up the car, I got in and I could see that the tyre light, the front offside tyre light was on, just showing that the tyre needed some air in it. So I pointed it out to the lady there and she took it round to the workshops and checked the tyre and said, we can't find anything wrong with the tyre. We've put some air in it. Hopefully everything will be okay, which was fine. I started driving off the forecourt and realised that actually I needed a charge. So I went and charged the car. As I plugged the charger in the front, I thought my bumper looked a little bit skew-whiff and it didn't quite look right. And as I looked closer, I could see that the gap on the offside wing of where the bumper met the wing was bigger than on the near side. And I looked a bit closer and I could see that down near the tyre at the bottom of the bumper, there was 2 gouges out of it and some scratches. And then I looked underneath and could see that the floor plate underneath had dropped down a bit. And then I looked closer at the tyre and I could see that the sidewall had been pinched. All this added up to somebody has crashed the car. Now, it wasn't serious damage, but there is no question in my mind whatsoever, whoever did that damage to my car knew they had done it. Now, who that was, I have no idea. We can only assume, because it had only been at Nissan, that it was an employee of Nissan's. Which led me on to the next question of what is the culture like within that garage? Is this somebody that was moving the car, crashed it, and just thought, oh, I won't say anything, I can get away with that? Or is it somebody that was moving the car, crashed it, and was so scared of admitting to it because of the comeback from his company that he didn't want to say? I say he or she didn't want to say anything. So that was my first question. Obviously, I went in and highlighted the fact to the people in there and told them what had happened. And I found a bit of a mixed reaction, I'll be honest. First and foremost, the lady who I always deal with, the lady, she's not a sales lady, she's not in servicing, she purely deals with electric vehicles, and she's there as an expert. And if you want to buy one, she will lead you through the process to the point where you want to buy it and you need to speak to a salesperson. So she's not a salesperson. She could not have been more apologetic and could not have done more to help me out. She was absolutely brilliant, as she always is. The workshop manager maybe didn't have quite the same attitude. He came out and had a look and said he'd fix it. Now, I don't know what I was expecting, but you know, an apology would have been nice. But that said, let's be fair, they are going to fix it. Now, since it's happened, 2 days later, they've ordered the tyre to match the rest of my tyres, because initially they offered me a Dunlop tyre, all my other tyres, and if you've watched my videos, you know that I took a great deal of time choosing the right tyres for my car, and they're all Goodyear tyres. So they have sourced and fitted another Goodyear tyre, which is great. They came, picked the car up, took it away, fitted it and returned it to me, all within a couple of hours. So that was very good. It's booked in to have the rest of it repaired. Now, they were talking about a smart repair. My understanding of smart repairs is possibly out of date, I don't know, but it goes back a good few years, where a smart repair is effectively fill the hole, make it look good. And they're quite good. But my concern is my bumper is hanging down. Not a great deal, but it's not flush, it's not where it should be. So I've made it clear that a smart repair will be fine as long as when I have it returned to me, it is in the condition that it was in when I dropped it off. Also, in the meantime, I've had a phone call from Nissan UK, a gent called Michael Flynn, who was actually very helpful. He spoke to me at length on the phone, asked me all about what had happened, all the details about what had happened, and what Westover Nissan, where I take my car, were doing to rectify it. The conversation ultimately ended up with him saying that clearly Westover are trying to do what they can to put it right, but should I have any trouble, then I've got his number and I should phone him back, and he will do what he can to assist me to make sure that my car is put right. So at the moment, I'm in the middle of it. I've got mixed feelings. On the one hand, I cannot believe that it happened and that the person who did it didn't put their hands up and own up to it. That's made me actually very angry, because I personally wouldn't do that, and surely in that sort of environment these things happen, and had I have arrived and they said, we're ever so sorry, unfortunately this has happened to your car, we will put it right, then I wonder whether I'd even be talking to you about it, because it wouldn't bother me in the slightest, because accidents happen, these things happen, there's nothing you can do about it. But it's made me angry that that didn't happen. I'm very pleased that the lady I deal with there at Westover has been very apologetic and done everything in her power to try and put it right. I'm upset that the service shop manager, who ultimately I would suggest is the boss of whoever crashed the car, hasn't been more apologetic or hasn't shown more interest in it. But the flip side is he said he's going to fix it. So, yeah, maybe I'm expecting a bit much. And I'm really impressed that somebody from Nissan's head office has phoned me to follow it up. So, as I said, at the moment, a little bit of mixed feelings. Ultimately, whatever happens, the end result will either satisfy me or it will leave me with a really bitter taste, and probably next time I won't use Nissan. But we're a little bit off that yet. I think we're a week or so away from it going in to be fixed. So obviously, I will keep you updated and I'll let you know what's happening. So that's my two little bits of news for you. It's not a full video today. As I said, I'll be back to doing things normally once I get that decorating finished. But for now, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, remember to like and share. And if you're not doing so already, subscribe to the channel. And hopefully I'll talk to you again very soon. Take care.